top of the morning to you. It's 8 o'clock at night. Welcome into another. I've already put this train right firmly off the tracks before we even get rolling. Welcome into another episode of the Barky Brown Show. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. We do not know if we'll be hearing from Casey today due to an unfortunate incident while he was looking for gators in Florida. That's a factual statement.
Happy Gilmore does come out next week. Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm feeling good. I wasn't here last week to talk about the Quinshon Judkins news, but I'm going to leave that on the side. I just think it's exciting that the rookies have reported. We got a little clip of Shedeur today. And I'm just back in the camp of let's see if one of these quarterbacks, one of these young guys is our franchise quarterback. And that makes the season exciting, man. Win, lose, or whatever, you're finding out answers, and there's upside. There's upside to this season that's undeniable. And Connie's here. We love you, Connie. So that's where I'm at, man. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm good, pretty good. I tweeted earlier today that I will never not get super excited to see the Browns doing football things, irregardless of what I think is going to happen in the season, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it does not matter, and I will still always be captain optimistic, and a lot of things have got to go right for them, but I still think I'm not going to call them a Super Bowl contender, but I'm going to call them a playoff contender. Like, I think they can make a run like that. A lot of things have got to go right.
Yeah.
A lot. And there's got to be a little bit of luck, and we don't seem to ever get any of that. So we'll see how that runs away. But, I'll never not be, super stoked and excited when I see them doing football things. That'll always happen.
Right. All right. I mean, I don't know. There's a certain segment of people that I interact with pretty frequently that are negative, and I really just don't understand. Probably the easiest and most fun time to be positive is when the season's just starting, when camp's getting going, when
things can still go right.
Yeah, when things can still go right. What's up, Brian? We appreciate you being here, man, on a Sunday night. It means a lot. And I love it. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to be in camp 6 days from now.
6 days, yeah.
6 days. Jacob is going to be in the Cleveland Metro in 5 days. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're so good.
I miss his face. He's got a great face. If you, am I pointing the wrong way?
You are. No,
a great face.
No, that was the wrong way. The second way was the wrong way.
Well,
it's been a crazy weekend, man. It's been a really enjoyable, relaxing weekend for me, and I've just had a good time. So I'm in a very good. So I wanted to talk about JC Tretter for a second. Can we talk about JC Tretter for a second? So yeah, I'm with you, Brian. We're gonna see our scheduling. There may be some scheduling snafus for us when the season begins. We're not really sure what that's going to look like because I work second shift. So typically I work 4:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. So Monday through Friday. So it just creates a little bit of an issue. So that's why we're here on Sundays right now. But we'll see what
we'll figure it out. We've been doing Jacob, I, and now Casey have been doing this show for years. I don't think any of us have any intention of not continuing.
It just might be in a weird format where one of us is on our cell phones at work.
Whatever.
I'm recording on my lunch break in a closet. Maybe, that's what I was gonna say. During break time at work, not when I'm supposed to be working.
Right.
During my lunch break and things like that, which I've done in the past. So JC Tretter resigned today, right? The former Browns center. And the reason why I can stream from the crapper. I'll do it if I got to, brother. I'll do it if I got to. I'll do it, man. You know, don't dare me. Don't dare me, because you start doing that shit, and I'm gonna do it. Interesting. I'll talk about. Actually, I got something interesting to pitch to you, or at the end of the show. Remind me of it. Remind me of that. So JC Tretter resigns today. He was the chief. Oh my goodness. Let me bring this up. So if you remember back, JC Tretter was a phenomenal center for the Browns. If you remember in 2020, he was actually elected NFLPA union president. He was the union's president in 2020, and then in 2022 he was reelected. Ever since then, back in October, he came back to work with the union as the team's chief strategy officer. So back in October of 2024, he became the chief strategy officer. And, he went to school for that kind of stuff. And then on Friday, the executive director, Lloyd Howell, resigns as the executive director of the NFLPA because he, among other things, was using the company card to go to strip clubs. Which is, I'm not making this up. This is what happened. It sounds like I'm bullshitting you, and I'm just like weaving you a tale of web of lies.
That's something.
This is what happened. So anyway, on Saturday morning, the Athletics' Diana Rossini was tweeted that basically it was down to two people to take over that role. JC Tretter, who had the majority support of the 32 player reps, was expected to be at least named interim executive director. In the meantime, at least. Yeah, no, I'm serious. That's not even the only thing he's accused of doing. That was just the final straw that led to his resignation. But anyway, Tretter then announced today that he's resigning his position. He's resigning his position. And this is a quote. So he gave an exclusive interview to CBS Sports, Jonathan Jones, for about an hour long, talking about his time with the union and also making this announcement. If you go to the OBR.com, I wrote an article about this. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a link there. And the last thing I say is if you're interested in more of this interview, please click here. You can go to that right there, and that'll take you to the entirety of this interview. So this was what JC Tretter said in terms of his resignation, right? Over the last couple of days, it has gotten very, very hard for my family, and that's something I can't deal with. So the short bullets are, I have no interest in being an executive director. I have no interest in being considered. I've let the executive committee know that. I'm also going to leave the NFLPA in the coming days because I don't have anything left to give the organization. There's a lot of controversy around JC Tretter. He's the one that wanted to boycott off-season workouts and OTAs. He wanted to do the virtual off-season, not just for that year. It was the second year of the pandemic. He wanted it for that reason, but he wanted to do virtual off-seasons always. Dude, I did not know how deep some of the controversy surrounding. Do you know that when the Russell Wilson trade happened, they thought that they were pushing for him to get a fully guaranteed contract, right? Get along the Watts. When they didn't sign that, JC Tretter texted somebody with either the Broncos or at the NFL, I think with the Broncos, and called him a fucking pussy.
Oh, man.
He admitted, he was like, yeah, I said that. I should not have done that. And he was like, this was before collusion, before that controversy and all that stuff. But he admits it. He did that. He basically was like, you're a pussy for not signing that contract and making this so he was doing it because he wanted more fully guaranteed deals. And I understand that sort of thing,
Sure.
But he legitimately is he's like, you're a fucking pussy. I'm like, oh my God. See, I don't know. I didn't know half of this stuff. Basically, there's a lot of stories of him doing stuff like that, where he's calling people names, and he wasn't well liked with NFL organizations. They liked him quite a bit in the union, but because he was always out there fighting for him, so to speak.
Sure.
But yeah, was Teller pushing for Watson's fully guaranteed deal then? Yeah. Wasn't I thought that the extension for Russell Wilson was after Watson, right?
They were right around the same time. I don't remember the exact order that they went in because the Wilson trade. So Russell Wilson gets traded to Denver, and Deshaun Watson gets traded to Cleveland. What a wild offseason that was.
It happened the same time. Yeah, Russell Wilson was traded before Watson.
Okay.
I
will say just on a player contract note, I think it's really cool that a bunch of first and second round picks now are getting fully guaranteed deals. Like you saw that with first round picks, right? But you didn't see that with so much with second round picks. And anything that can screw the Bengals over is fine by me for Mike Brown. But just in general, I think, when they say like the average NFL player's career is like, I don't want to exaggerate. So I think it's somewhere around like 4 years. So if the higher picks among them are at least getting more guarantees, I feel like eventually you're going to get a little more guaranteed, a little more guaranteed, a little more guaranteed as it goes down. And those are your most important years. Those are when you're in your prime athletically. And like, you never want to see, especially there's been so many young guys who get injured that probably don't see the money that they could have if they had stayed healthy. So I would, you can't help that. So I love seeing the young guys especially get their guaranteed money because like the older guys, like, TJ Watt just broke Myles Garrett's contract record, right? And Myles Garrett broke whatever record before that. It's like all these guys at the top are getting theirs, right? So like to see
record
high
highs.
picks get some guaranteed money is nice.
Yeah, record highs at the top of it. So yeah, I have no problem with it.
41 million a year.
Woo,
baby.
I think so. It's a lot. The Browns are in such a weird spot too with Quinshon Judkins. He did not report on Friday. It sounds as though they have asked him to not stay away, because I don't think they've necessarily told him to stay away, but they do want him more focused on the legal side of things and the off the field situation that he has going on following his arrest. They want him to focus on that first above football. It's weird. I still think I would have had him report and get him under contract, because I would like to have him in the building with stability, but his mom's an attorney, so I know he's getting good advice on what to do. So dumb. It sucks, dude, because if he did what he is alleged to have done and
sucks,
and there's some evidence to believe he did, that he could have, that is inexcusable, gross, disgusing behavior.
God, 2 years
completely
in a row,
inexcusably. And it's just
picks in a row.
It's why does it always have to keep happening? And you feel really insensitive because there's a bigger impact to right. the alleged victim than to us or whatever. Yeah. But it's just there was the one thing that I was the shiny new toy, the new run game, the new revamped running back room. That was the thing that I was really excited about. And this team just kind of find a way to took it away from me at least for a little bit.
Irritating.
It's just
because Quinshon is the only back on the Browns roster built to be the bruiser. And I am not making light of his alleged crime. Right? Yes. That's more important. I get that. But I'm just a Browns fan. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to give the respect to the victims. And honestly, I would rather him not be in Cleveland right now because all the questions are going to be about that.
See, I can understand that. I can understand the people on both sides of that are like, oh, he should be there. I'm just more concerned about like, the thing about keeping Chubb is like you didn't see any of this coming because he wasn't one of those guys, right? Like he wasn't one of those red flag guys. And then you felt like the Browns went out and drafted a lot of high character, raved about teammates. And then you just got kicked in the nuts real quick, like a couple days before camp. And you're like, why? You know, that's it. And we'll move on. We're moving past.
It's frustrating. I wish it would stop happening. I'm not gonna rage at Andrew Berry because there were no reported. Like you would think when this happened, you would think if there was some type of evidence that Quinshon had like a history of this or like some type of warning flags, right? That stuff would come out. And the only stuff that I saw was like maybe he was a little bit more of a selfish teammate type situation.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah,
right. But none of this. So like I can't, as mad as I am about it, I can't blame Andrew Berry. I like with Michael Hall. There's at least like a couple flags where you say, okay, maybe I don't know. But with Quinshon, it's not the same. So I'm not as angry as it is as a Browns fan. It's not something that I don't think you can blame Andrew Berry.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Well, let's talk about something else. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about some things that we're looking forward to this week. So, rookies have reported. They reported on Friday. Everybody is under contract except for Judkins.
Hello, Shador.
So you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, here we go. And yeah, man.
Dylan Sampson,
plenty fast.
He's
not A-chain fast. He isn't A-chain fast. You're not wrong. He's a 4.4 guy, not like a 4.29. But he's got plenty of speed to be pretty explosive. Let's do it then. You want to talk about? Let's talk about Dylan Sampson. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say, Drew, every time I see your picture, I'm like, that guy looks like a badass in his Browns jacket.
Yeah.
But Dylan Sampson.
It's a good photo. Yeah. It's a really good photo.
It is a good photo.
Yeah. So I wrote about Dylan Sampson because the first thing with me as a selfish fan is like the copium. But one thing I wanted to say was like Dylan Sampson was one of those guys that I thought you could take a little bit later, like late second, early round 3, and he ends up going 4. But for me, he was my 50th overall prospect, like my 6th running back. He was right behind TreVeyon Henderson. Henderson was several spots up in the overall board, but Henderson was my running back 5 and Sampson was my running back 6. And so to me, it was like immediately, well, let's talk about this. We're going to potentially put him in a bigger role. The problem is I don't know that he's a workhorse capable back because of his size and power limitations. And he's got he had a little bit of a fumbling issue. He had 4 fumbles last year, but when you averaged it out, it was like a fumble every 50 carries. And like, you can't have a fumble every 50 carries. So so those kind of things like pushed him down. But like, I wanted to remind people, like I had this guy as a late round 2, early day 3 guy, round 3. There we go. So that is where I had him mapped out. And a lot of it had to do with that speed and his acceleration, but also the patience and the vision. And I wrote an article. I said, I'm not comparing him to Nick Chubb because I understand that whenever you say anything like that, and you start being like, ooh, Nick Chubb, you say Nick Chubb and it's like direct comparisons. And I don't want to send you guys down the wrong road and think that I'm, just throwing a comparison to Nick Chubb out there like it's so casual. But what I do think is he shows some Nick Chubb stuff with his vision and his patience, where you can see him very calculated in all the moves that he makes in the backfield. And I think it works out so well in this system, because go look at prime Nick Chubb in 2020 and 2021 and Kevin Stefanski, and watch the way Nick Chubb will allow his blockers to get out, get to their spot, and set up the rushing lanes. And then having the explosiveness to take advantage of that and take advantage of that patience, because don't worry, I can get from 0 to 100 really quick, so I can afford to be a little more patient. Like that's how Lev Bell was too. Like Le'Veon Bell in his prime in Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell probably has the best patience of a running back that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not saying that Dylan Sampson's on that level, but I'm saying he has that at an elite level. So I'm going to put this up, Nick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I got
show
you.
an example here. I'm going to share just this video here that our good friend Lance Riesland put up on his Twitter here. These are some examples of Sampson with outstanding patience and then burst, and which makes him very O-line friendly. And this is I think if you watch him here in the you watch him kind of be, and then boom. He's like, let it set up in front of me. Now go. And then there's that burst and that acceleration, gets to that top speed, and he's gone. He's around the corner. He lets his block set up, and it's just, and even here, cutting back and then accelerating.
Little sidestep there to make the tackler have a non-direct shot. Love that.
Yeah, and it's just I think he can be a guy that gets you 15 touches a game and can be a real weapon. So, yeah, I would much rather him being the running back behind Judkins than him and Ford being a 1A and 1B. But I don't think those two as a 1A and 1B is a bad group. It's not top 10. Don't get me wrong, but it's also not like bottom 10. I think there's a lot of skill set there from Dylan Sampson, and Jerome Ford has shown enough to where you can get by for a few games with them at the head of your running game.
I'm not sure where this whole thing with Quinshon Judkins goes, but I like to think about things in their worst case scenario, just to be prepared, right? And so, in my estimation, the worst case scenario for Quinshon Judkins is maybe he's got some stuff going on that just doesn't allow him to be the Cleveland Browns running back, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying this is the worst case scenario, right? Where, second round picks get guaranteed money. The Browns are not going to give them guaranteed money because of this issue, that type of thing. So if for whatever reason the Browns could not have Quinshon Judkins this year, I'm going to hit you with a name that I think would be interesting.
You're going to tell me
he was what? No, I'm not going to hit you with that one.
Oh, okay.
He was in the doghouse with his previous coaching regime. They have a new coach this year. However, the running back ahead of him is well paid and a veteran. They also just drafted another running back this year, and he's dealt with a couple of injuries, but is an interesting player. He is 6 foot and 220 pounds. If you had a guess, if you just wanted to take a shot with that, what do you think?
AFC or NFC?
NFC. He's young. He's like 22, 23.
Trey Sermon?
Not Trey Sermon, but I wonder what the Saints are going to do with Kendre Miller. Because
Kendre Miller from TCU.
They drafted him. He got in the doghouse. He got injured. They paid Alvin Kamara. They drafted Devin Neal, another Jacob prospect, right? Do they need Kendre Miller? I wonder what it would take to get yourself a little Kendre Miller in your life.
I think I saw Pete Smith mention this kind of like that one thing he's going to be watching is kind of like these waiver wire guys at the end of camp, like, and that could be one of them too. Like Denver was one he mentioned because they've got a million running backs over in Denver. I thought you were going to say Dearness Johnson because I thought you were talking free agents. So it's like, oh,
that would be. I mean, I don't know what Dearness Johnson's up to these days, but
I think they'll wait. I think they'll wait to get clarity to understand because Mike Hall's situation, he pled down. So like the victim recanted her statement, and then they pled down, and the case got dismissed. So not dismissed, but he pled down. It got resolved. The word I was looking for is resolved. So it'll be interesting to see if like that's the situation, if Judkins wants to go to court and fight it, because look at Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice was allowed to play all last year. And then the ruling until he got hurt, and the ruling came down, this past week, he's going to get suspended. Same thing with Addison. Addison just got Jordan Addison in Minnesota. So both of those guys had arrests last year, ended up playing the entire year. And now we'll probably face a suspension. So like, does it go that route? Like there, in my mind, that's a possibility, because the stuff that Rashee Rice was guilty of, so to speak, was not nothing to laugh at, but domestic, they do take a hard stance on domestic violence. So they might.
Didn't something like that also happen to Alvin Kamara, if I'm not mistaken? Didn't he wasn't he in like a casino and like?
Yeah, he was in some kind of like club, and there was some kind of like assault or something of that nature.
I'm not saying
he played in the Pro Bowl the next day.
Right, he played the whole next season, and then he got suspended a year beyond that. Right.
Yeah. So I really have no idea what direction this goes. Like, does he just plead guilty? Does he plead down? Does the victim recant the statement? Like, there's so many possibilities. I have no idea what direction it's going to go. So they just want to know that too. And I think once the team knows that, they'll decide if they want to bring somebody in, because then they'll decide how much they're willing to invest. Because if it's like, oh, it's looking like he's getting 10 games, it's like, yeah, if he's out 10 games,
you got to get some.
Yeah, you need to get a decent, significant addition in terms of like getting a veteran. Like you're not going with Keandre Miller. You know what I mean? You're not going with Miller in that situation.
Right.
But if it's like, well, maybe they do. But more likely than not, you're going to look at a guy that can shoulder 150 carries. So you're probably looking for a more proven.
They need like a big back. I'm not sure who that big back is, but that's I know who they target.
Yeah, you would need a short yardage guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that or it's just Harold Fannin, because he ran a lot of running back. He did some H-back stuff at Bowling Green last year. Just put him in there. Yeah, it took a full year before Rice. That's
right.
Yeah,
he's not even suspended yet. He's still not suspended, right?
Right. They just got like a ruling came down, I believe, or a settlement came out from this week. His sentencing, because he's got to do like 30 days in jail, but he's got multiple years to do it. They misused a lot of people last year, Drew, because the system was poo-poo. Yeah. They shot themselves in both feet. They shot themselves in both feet and both knees before the season started.
They sure
did. Offense.
So I'm excited. You know what? Either way, though, Dylan Sampson definitely brings something to the table that I just don't think the Browns had last year. And I'm really excited to see what he's got. And he's probably really excited for his new, you're the second running back drafted to an NFL team that already has a veteran on it. Maybe you're just like, what's my playing time situation going to be? But now you're Dylan Sampson and you're like, hey, man, I'm going to get the opportunity to show this team I am their best back. Like right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, and I think him and Ford together, I can think, if the offensive line can return to more of what they were before when they were in a good system, then you've got something. You can at least something that's exciting. But the Browns open camp in 3 days. Their first practice is going to be on Wednesday. It all turns to the quarterbacks, brother. And we're going to have this conversation because Casey's not here, and Casey's so sick of talking about the quarterbacks.
Sure, let's do it.
So with him not being here right now, we'll talk about the quarterbacks. And he might be listening right now too. And if he is, he's gonna be shaking his head at me. They're shaking his head at me right now. So it enters in a spot where people have been arguing over the last month when nothing has happened about Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. I'm not even going to talk about the other guys because there's like some people that this narrative keeps going out there that the Browns are hell-bent on making it Kenny Pickett and that they're going to do that no matter what. I don't buy that. I don't buy that they're going to force one of these guys. Like if Pickett goes out there and looks good, might they overblow it a little bit? Maybe. But I don't think if he goes out there and just looks average that they're like, yep, hitching our wagon. No, I think if he looks really good, then you know they might say he looks good and they're going to bump it up to really good. But I just don't think people are like, oh, they're already bent. It's going to be this. It's going to be. I do think it's still wide open, and so we go into this situation with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and I'm just ready to get it started. I'm just ready to get it started and get a look at it.
I like it. I like it. I think, you were entering a year where you were basically saying this is going to be a lame duck year and we don't have the first pick, so we're not getting Cam Ward. And obviously the let's draft Shedeur 2 talk was way overblown, but, that's hindsight. So the Browns, in my estimation, were in a situation where when they trade down and they get a first-round pick next year, they're just saying, we're punting. We're punting the next year. We got Kenny Pickett. We got
I don't think they can afford that. I don't think that's the case because I don't think they can afford that.
So I understand logically why you would say that, but the Browns, Andrew Berry's not operating like a dude who thinks he's going to get fired. You don't.
Well, because I think he thinks his moves are going to work. I don't think it's that because you're telling me that Jimmy Haslam will run it back if they win 3 games again. You really think, like, seriously though, do you really think that?
I have a hard time believing it, but I feel like all the signs have pointed to them
7 maybe. Maybe 7 if they get set. They go 7-10, 8-9. I think, but like 4 or 5 wins.
Well, all logic would have told you that when the Deshaun Watson trade blew up in their face that they should be fired, and they stayed. So I don't know.
But in that case, I think we got too over emotional because the whole season leading into 2024, we talked about how this organization has shown if the Watson thing doesn't work out, this regime can win and they get a pass to try again. That's what we said after 2023, after that run. It was like, hey, if this doesn't work out, they should get another crack at it because we have seen them with minimal, moderate, average quarterback play have a ton of success. If they can just get average quarterback play, well, they got historically bad quarterback play for the first 7 games and they were 1-6. So I understand that because when you're going through a 3-win season, you can't be reminded that last year you said that they get a pass if it's because of Watson. Like we said that, like they get a year pass if it's because of Watson. And it's really hard to be reminded of that when you're winning 3 games. Because I was like, no, fuck you, but that is how we felt. That's not the case here. They're getting a restart. They're getting, a flush out, and they should be able to, if they can get moderate quarterback play, they should be able to be successful. If they win 3 games this year, I think they're gone. I don't think they can afford that.
I think it does set up them getting the first round pick next year does set up to be an enticing situation for like really any GM, right? Because you're going to get to.
What if you get 2 top 10 picks?
Yeah, right. Yeah, if things go really poorly, you could, really poorly but really well, you could get 2 top 10 picks. Right.
Really well for the offseason. Poorly for 2025, but good for the offseason.
I tend to agree with Bill here because I just think I don't think Flacco and Pickett can be on your roster when you draft two rookies. I just don't think it makes any sense. So to me, to me, like when just a little spoiler for our roster predictions this year, it's Flacco or Pickett and Gabriel plus Sanders for me.
Yeah, I think logic tells you that.
Right. I'm not sure who it will be. I think it will be Flacco. I just think people act like Joe Flacco is terrible again. And they acted like he was terrible before he was in Cleveland. To me, I think there is a fit with Joe Flacco and Kevin Stefanski that works. I saw it without the presence of any run game. I saw it without the half of the offensive linemen that you'd like to have. And that was just 2 years ago. I don't believe it's gone. And so I think it's Flacco.
I would much rather hitch my wagon to that than Kenny Pickett. I don't see a scenario where I'm hitching my wagon to Kenny Pickett and being like, woohoo, yeah, yeehaw. Boy, howdy. I don't think that's a thing that happens. Yeah, Michael Barnes.
We got some deep cuts here. I just think Pickett is like the weird in-between man to me, which I guess, like, yeah, you're right though, Jacob. If he
was like a page holder.
Yeah. I work with a Steelers fan, and he's a good friend of mine. And we were just talking Browns Steelers the other day. And he was telling me, he's like, man, when Kenny Pickett had that preseason, he's like, I was fully bought in. I thought he was going to be the franchise quarterback forever. And he speaks with like this Pittsburgh accent that I can't replicate because he's from there. And I thought about that, man. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do.
The talk of Sports Center.
Yeah, he had like 158.3. Had a perfect passer rating in the preseason. He had like 7 drives,
right?
Like 7, 10, something like that. It was not very many. It wasn't very high in the double digits. Because I think he even sat out one of the games. I think he only played in 2 of them. I don't remember.
That's crazy.
But I know that he had a perfect passer rating. That I remember clear as day because I remember just being like, come on, guys. Like, I don't know about that. I was like, maybe, but like, I think we're making too much out of this. And then he didn't look like that at all when the regular season came around. So
that was that year that San Fran came to their house week 1 and just demolished them.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Yinzers get embarrassed week 1. It's like 38-3 or something.
Yeah. And they were like, maybe Kenny's not it. And it's like, And then that's the first move they move. But no, I do. I think it's Flacco because if you ask me, like, who's got the arm talent to win games, like, it's obvious to me. Like, I wrote an article because, again, this week it was brought up. It keeps the Kirk Cousins to the Browns articles will not stop until
why
I don't know, but it comes out, and I said to myself, I'm like, well, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins, who to me it looked like there was some lack of drive on the ball. Like he threw it, like you could tell he was, and probably some of it was from the Achilles, but like my point was, if I'm just looking at like arm talent and arm strength, like it's still there for Flacco. We've seen it. We've had videos this spring to where it's there. It's like the decision making and the interceptions probably also still there and probably still issues, but at least you can say, hey, that dude can still sling it.
Right.
And I think that's why he ultimately wins and why they ultimately wouldn't make a move for a guy like Kirk Cousins is because he can still sling it. And there's a scenario where, Drizzt, I don't know if it's Drizzt T or what do you want me to call you, brother? You want to call me?
Is this from the novel? I might have asked you this before, but there was like the legend of Drizzt, spelled the same way, which I can't imagine is unrelated, but maybe it is.
I'm making myself look like a fool, but You asked like if I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh no, sorry. It was Brian who asked. Who said hopefully Kevin Stefanski has a plan to reduce Joe's picks. There's a scenario where you get into you get into camp, the offensive line gets healthy, it starts firing like it was again. You start play action boot under center, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, full Stefanski,
Oh yeah.
and Joe is throwing it 25 times a game.
Mm-hmm. Like Baker was.
That reduces the opportunity for turnovers. Like Baker was in 2020. No.
I still just think when here's the thing. When the Browns opt to bring Joe Flacco back, to me, it's an admission that last year they were protecting number 4's ego. They still think highly of him. Joe said he wanted to be back, but they didn't bring him back, right? So clearly, if Joe publicly says that he wants to be back in Cleveland, okay, the Browns don't bring him back. That's kind of embarrassing, a little embarrassing. So if Joe is willing to come back to Cleveland and the Browns, after scorning him, are willing to admit that they want him back, they're telling you they thought it was a mistake, and Joe thinks so highly of this situation that he's willing to come back. Because if a team embarrasses you like that, they don't bring you back after you publicly say you want to be back, I don't think you're coming back under any circumstances outside of you really think you can succeed. And I just think there's a connection between Stefanski and Joe Flacco that is one of those connections. And it's going to be a test of if Joe can still muster it physically.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a starter until he proves he shouldn't be.
I hope you guys are having fun because we literally have just rambled on just random ass topics for 43 minutes.
This is why I love this show and why I love you.
Sometimes it's like I do a lot of structured shows for the OBR, and then so when I come here, we kind of made the show as just us talking originally, 4 years ago, and it was just us kind of talking, and we, as we get into the season, things will be a little bit more structured, obviously, for obvious reasons, but it's just kind of funny. You get into July, and it's just like, I got some rambles I want to say, and then you start saying about something, I want to talk about something else, and
I knew it was from this. If you've never read them and you like a little fantasy, a little medieval battling, God, I used to read these books. They're awesome.
Hey, so can I tell you about this thing I'm thinking about doing, and I want to ask the people in the chat too?
In the spirit of us just talking about random things, let's continue.
I want to run 2 fantasy leagues this year, okay?
2? Okay.
Yes. I want to run 2 10-team fantasy leagues.
A little 10-teamer, okay.
Which means, and I would be in both of them. So that means I'm looking for 18 people. What I want to do is a $20 buy-in, okay?
All right.
I want that money to go to charity. And we'll decide together. We can decide together. So that would, in theory, mean if I filled up both of these 2 10-team leagues, we would give $400 to a charity. All right? So, thank you. Your rambling is yeah. Hey, well, I appreciate that. We and that's what we want our chat to feel like too.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, don't you start with me. I see you now. Don't you start with me. Do not start with me. We want our chat to just conversate with us. Like that's just bullshit. Like that's just why that's what this particular show is. I see. Okay, Connie, I thought that was interesting. The idea like the winners could pick that, but what I was actually going to give the winners was the ability to make me choose a dumb internet challenge for me to do.
Oh boy.
So you could be like, hey man, why don't you go do a milk mile? Do you know what a milk mile is?
I don't know what a milk mile is.
You have to travel a mile, right? Run or walk a mile, but in that time, you also have to complete a gallon of milk.
I'm lactose intolerant. I'd die.
So
I would
I'm
just
I'm
die.
lost. I'm a little lactose sensitive, so I would probably just buy Fairlife, a couple Fairlife jugs because
Okay, all right, we can do that.
there's no lactose in those. And I might have to do chocolate milk because you know what, Fairlife chocolate milk is freaking great. So like I would get like two of them. They're like this big, but like I get like two of them, and like you could choose that like as the winner. I don't know. What do
I'm
you
gonna
think?
I'm gonna win the league, and I'm gonna see if you'll do the milk grape challenge.
No, I'm not doing that one. There would be parameters. There would be
We'll
parameters.
put like little inflatables on the side, so like if you do eat shit, like you won't like break your leg or anything.
Yeah, but I'm still falling on the milk crates because we both know I'm not completing it. We both know I'm not capable of that. That's why I'm a podcaster by day, a janitor by night. How about Jacob has to poop out in public? I've already done that. Yeah, I've
Oh,
already did that.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I will
Yeah,
drink
you make
all.
you drink
I
almond
would
milk.
do
Yeah.
that. I would.
Hey, if you are the winner in that league and you want to make Nick also do it with me, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, let's do
I'll
that.
do it. I'll do it. Why not, man? Let's have some fun. As long as I don't have to drink like real lactose, because I will physically die.
Yeah, no, I know I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, Brian. I'm gonna pay for that. I will email you. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. I will pay you for that. He's gonna make me a jersey box. I'm gonna put that Nick Chubb in there.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
Oh, and I wanted to, I mean, just so like, I think all of you know here already, but I did promise if the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders that I'd give away a Shedeur Sanders jersey. So I'm thinking with camp officially starting, I might like when we go Saturday, I might like start the giveaway then. You know, like build a little preseason hype, give somebody a Shedeur jersey.
Casey said if he wins, if he were to win in that scenario, he'd make me do a 5 minutes stand-up comedy at an open mic somewhere.
Oh shit!
And I'd have to film it and put it on the internet.
I just watched Jonathan.
If people are interested in that, can I say this real quick? And I think you just because I'm going to forget. My email. I don't know if we have it. Look in the banners, Nick. My email might be in the banners. The Gmail email. See if it's in there.
Yeah,
put it up. Put it up there.
Yeah. Well, we got it. We got it.
There we go. Okay, so this says for the first round mock challenge. That's the old challenge. But if you're interested in joining a league like that, there's my email, the jr229009@gmail.com. If you're interested in a $20 buy-in fantasy league where the winners can make me do something embarrassing potentially on the internet, and you would want to do it for $20 for charity, email me. Let me know.
I'll do it with you. Why not? Let's have some fun.
So obviously I would be in both leagues. So obviously I would pay $40 to the charity. So like I would put my money. So we could send the money over to me, like money gets over to me and that kind of thing. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, you can take that down now. You don't.
Okay.
But if you're interested in that, that's my email, or in the or next week, bring it into the chat too and things like that. But that's my idea because I think that people would love the opportunity to screw with me.
All right, I got another one for you. It's 1086. No, it's 864 because we're not insane. You get to pick 8 miles. 8 miles, beers, donuts. 6 miles, beers, donuts. 4 miles, beers, donuts. Pick any one of each individually. You got to do all 3. In like a time.
So I can do 4, 6, and 8. So I have to pick which one is miles, which one's beer, and which one's donuts.
That's correct.
There's so many.
That was our 16th place punishment in my fantasy league.
Yeah, so you could choose that. You could choose that for me. You could choose miles, beers. That might be what I do. I may do one of the leagues is you get to choose that, and the other league, I don't know, something like that. But if you guys are interested, send me an email, just because if you're interested in that kind of league to help out some charity, that's what I've always wanted to try to use this platform to do. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings of a Guardians game next summer. If you were to win one of those fantasy leagues, Bill, I would do that challenge if you were to win.
I'll get Jacob home. Don't worry. I'm close enough. He'll stay the night. We'll be okay.
Yeah, if you were to join one of those fantasy leagues and you won it, I would do that. Yes.
Jacob, this is awesome.
I'm willing to do that.
You're a madman.
I just think it would be. I just would love to help charity, right? Like, I would love to help charity, and then on the back end of it, it would probably make funny content that whatever it was.
It would.
Beers, hot dogs, innings, whatever it is, or making me do stand up, because people know that have a really bad social anxiety.
The more you talk in front of people, the easier it gets.
I know, but like when I'm just like having a conversation with people, it's one thing. But if I get up there, I'm trying to make you laugh, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
And so it kind of becomes this thing where it's a lot of overthinking and whatnot, and it just doesn't go the way that I probably would want it to go.
I think if I was doing a comedy routine for 5 minutes and I was trying to make people laugh, I would just tell them how much my life sucks as a Browns fan.
Yeah.
we would make a lot of jokes about that struggle.
Actually, that would probably be really good because I could talk about, like, I wrote this, like, I felt part of the thing that pissed me off with the Quinshon Judkins situation was, like, I had just wrote an article summing up Andrew Berry's draft history with the team over the course at least of the first 4 years or so. And part of it I put was I think he's learning and growing as a drafter and getting better. And I think you look at 2024, and I know Mike Hall had some issues, but there weren't a ton of red flags around him. And then you come here, especially in the 2025 class, and you're like, these guys are all high character guys. Like, they're moving on past that. They're not doing that stuff anymore. And then 2 or 3 days later, a dude gets arrested for domestic violence. I'm like, are you fucking like,
That's something, man. That is something. So that's, you know what, though? I'm hoping it gets worked out. Because I know, and I saw our friend Corey Kinnan tweeted out how, like, that pending charge situation is going to make contract negotiations very difficult. So I don't know, like, to me, there's a scenario where Quinshon isn't signed by the season because, and I don't know what, like, the regulations are, like, of how long you have to sign draft picks, but in my estimation, the Browns may want to wait until whatever this is plays out. I don't know.
They could. That's a real thing. I absolutely think that's possible. I think they'll want to, and this is what really sucks. You think the language Shamar is complaining about in Cincinnati is rough? Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting because here's the thing. If I'm in Judkins' situation, if I'm in his shoes, I could see why you would want it to just get resolved quickly. A horrible mistake, disgusting behavior, want to move past it. Maybe you accept some kind of plea and you get your suspension, you move on. But if he's innocent, does he want to accept a plea when he thinks he shouldn't get any kind of punishment because he says he didn't, like, where is he? And then, so it'll be very interesting to see if it's just something they try to, get resolved quickly, or if he wants to go to court about it. Like, I mean, there's so many different, it'll be interesting to see what direction this goes. We could get a resolution during camp. We might not. I tend to think we probably do.
I'd like to think so. Hoping so, because the longer it drags out, the more of an issue it is. So
I think they sign him, though. I don't think they make it to the season with him unsigned. I don't think that happens.
Okay. No, I would just like to say I think that's unlikely too. I'm just talking about potential situations, but overall, I just think it's the quarterback battle is going to be the talk from basically this next episode on, right? Because we're going to start getting clips, we're going to start getting reports, we're going to start getting, film on, like, what these guys are doing, and it's not just like, oh, hey, we're installing, what we want you to do. We're giving you the framework. It's going to be okay. The four of you are competing now, and so by the next time we see you guys, there's going to be a definitive, probably leader of some sort in this quarterback competition, right? Because you said everybody starts Wednesday, and so by the time we see everybody again, it'll be Sunday. Well, we might do like a little camp report or something.
Yeah, whatever we do. But by then they'll probably have like 3 or 4 practices, because I'm sure there's an off day in there somewhere. So they'll probably practice like Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, probably, or something like that. I don't know what the off day schedules and stuff, and they won't be in pads yet either. So it's still a ramp up period. But you'll at least get you'll have more video and more access to practice and just more reps. And even though I think it can still be wide open at this point in camp, it's still going to get to the point where you're starting to ramp up. A certain player is going to have to be ready week 1.
Right.
So you're going to get at least I think it'll be too early, yes, but will we have an idea of where maybe the leader in the club, who the leader in the clubhouse is? Yeah, I think you might. I think you could have that by Saturday.
Let me tell you this right now. The Browns have 19 days from now to figure out what they're going to do for the first preseason game. If less than 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks, we'll be playing a preseason game.
Oh, well, we're seeing a preseason game this month. The Hall of Fame game is in the month of July.
Yeah, and you're going to have joint practices. All this stuff happens in such a small window, man.
Well, that's what he's talking about too here. They have to have a leader by scrimmage week. I assume he means like the
joint practices.
You'll at least get an idea, because the joint practices are more important than the preseason for a lot of these guys. And so you're going to at least get an idea there. That gives them, a little bit of time, a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. You're going to get some kind of idea by then.
So I just want to say we've had a really active chat tonight. We love you guys. Thank you for being here. You take a risk when you move your show from one day to the other. And the fact that so many of you are still here with us means the world. So if you'd like, subscribe. That all helps us infinitely. You're just letting a few guys, and we miss you, Casey, ramble about the Cleveland Browns and get to hang out as friends with all you guys as well. So I look forward to this every week, and it means a lot more to me than that we get to do it. So thank you for being here. I have no idea what episode of the Barking Brown Show this is. So we're like 4 years deep now. So it's a good number. And Nick, he's Jacob.
No.
This is pointing to you on my screen.
That's not pointing.
Okay. How's that?
There you go.
Okay. All right. He's Jacob. Go Browns.
Go